Hello everyone, in this video I will discuss about intercultural conflict. As we know, Indonesia is the largest archipelago in the world. In addition, Indonesia is a very pluralistic and heterogeneous country. Indonesia consists of many ethnicities, religions, races, and intergroups. This makes our country a country rich in diverse languages, customs, and many cultural differences. However, it is not uncommon for conflicts to occur that are related to culture. Issues related to ethnicity, religion, race, and intergroup are very sensitive in Indonesia. This conflict can certainly bring division to our nation. So, what is intercultural conflict? According to Robbins, conflict is a social process in society that occurs between parties who have different interests that have a negative impact on each other, meaning that these different parties always provide resistance. According to Albanese, conflict is a state of society that experiences damage to social order stemming from individuals or groups who disagree with opinions and other parties so as to encourage change in attitudes, behavior, and action on the basis of their disagreement. Based on the book Detecting Conflict Early, published by the Ministry of Culture and Tourism in 2003, said intercultural conflict can be defined as a conflict caused by differences in perceptions and interpretations of the identity of one particular group of cultural supporters, of other cultural supporters, and or certain resource distribution system. The difference in interpretation and perception itself does not actually produce conflict if it is not accompanied by efforts to mobilize group identity to confront other parties who have greater access to the contested resources. Quoted from Nikkei in 2011 in the journal Conflict Management and Resolution in Society, there are 4 factors that cause conflict in society with different perspectives. First, individual differences. Every individual is unique and has differences in stance and feelings towards things around them. When interacting in society, a person does not always agree or align with the group. Differences in cultural background. Mindsets and stances that come from diverse cultural backgrounds can lead to conflict between individuals. A person is born, grows, and develops within a culture. They learn the values of their own culture, which may be different from other cultures. Differences in individual cultural backgrounds have the potential to create differences in their views and thoughts, which can create tension and conflict in social interactions. Differences in interests. Everyone has unique characteristics, including different perspectives and emotions towards the world around them. In a society, everyone has certain values that are considered important to them. These differences can sometimes lead to social conflict, especially when individuals or groups have different interests. These differences in views can create conflict in various sectors, including political, economic, social, and cultural. Rapid and sudden changes in values. Change is a frequent event in a society. However, changes that come quickly or suddenly can trigger social conflicts because they can disrupt social process in society. Sometimes people may resist the change because they think it disrupts the existing order of life. For example, when there is an apartment development in a rural area, the value of mutual cooperation between residents may change with the arrival of the values of the apartment community. Based on depth of underlying issues as well as the consequences for the style and pattern of social relations after the conflict can be divided into three forms, namely dispute, war, and feud. Dispute, that is a conflict that is not colored or not masked by the existence of ideological differences. This kind of conflict is solely based on differences in interest and struggle for resources, especially economic. Differences in interest and the struggle for resources, especially economic, indication of a dispute is struggle for resources such as land, economic activities, control of areas like parking and business, unclear dispute arrangement, and others. War. This is a conflict that occurs because of differences in ideology and belief held by the parties. War is often preceded by a dispute that is not resolved completely and even becomes a prolonged dispute, and then the dispute is covered and colored or exploits ideological differences. War has the motive of wanting to destroy the other side. The symptoms of war usually begin with a small dispute involving only a few people. If the dispute is not resolved properly, it continues and develops into a major conflict involving a larger number of people. The indications of war are the emergence of increased assertive group identity formations, mass mobilization based on the group solidarity, greater conflict escalation, and the dimension of conflicts and victims that tend to expand. Feud. This symptom often arises as a result of unresolved disputes or wars, so that social disputes are prolonged and even the symptoms are not resolved. Even the symptoms cannot be detected. This kind of conflict usually accumulates between various factors so that in a certain period of time it appears with escalations. Conflicts are also usually preceded with one or more relatively small triggering factors, and because the foundation of the conflict have been built up over a long period of time, the conflict spreads rapidly.